Well, the only good thing for Dub Nation during all the staying at home and staying away from each other and doing the right thing for our healthcare workers and the situation we're in is getting to look back at one of our favorite years and our favorite people and the We Believe era. And Jason Richardson is one of my guys, always has been nice enough to take the time. Jason, where are you at right now and how are you dealing with everything that's going on?
How you doing? Thanks for having me on, first of all. I'm living in Denver right now and just trying to take this day by day, try to get some normalcy back. My kids started Zoom school about 2 weeks, so they're trying to get on track right now. They go to school for about 4 hours a day. Just try to stay home as much as possible, hopefully, and this will pass, and praying for everyone that, we can get past all of this.
Now, before we get into We Believe, my kids said as soon as you talk to Jason, you got to run this by him. Who did you think won the dunk competition this year? From someone that's got some dunk championships on his resume as a dunker, who won the NBA Slam Dunk Championship in your mind?
With Aaron Gordon, I think he got robbed. Some of the dunks this guy does is just unbelievable. And for him to get robbed again, it's like, man, what else do this guy has to do to win a dunk contest? But I think it's great for the fans, how he keep on coming back. Hopefully he come back one more time and hopefully he get a win because he's definitely deserved one.
No, I agree with you. Midi high school, Bay Area kid. I'd love to see him get it. So let's talk about the We Believe year a little bit. And for you, it was a little bit different in that, to me, you were such an Iron Man. You never were hurt. Even if you'd roll your ankle, tape it up, play the next day. The We Believe year, you were injured a little bit, missed about 20 or so games. That was so unusual. Now, when you came back with a vengeance. But give me an idea of how weird that year was for you and the fact you had to sit out. That was so uncommon in your career.
It was very weird. I was coming off a knee surgery from the previous season I had in the summertime. Wasn't fully 100% ready. I came back for a couple of the games, and then I break my hand. And it was really weird because I pride myself on, trying to play every game, no matter if I'm sick, if I'm hurt. I always was told, by Coach Izzo, it's two different, things with a basketball player. You either injure or you're hurt. You can't play when you're injured, but you can play hurting. I played hurt a lot of times, but, just sitting down, it was tough. And Nelly was just coming in as our coach. Guys were starting to find their own. We made the trade, for Steven and Al and all those guys, and I was just starting to get back to it.
I remind people, and we've talked to Chris Mullen and Monte Ellis, we're going through everybody from that year, is that, the team was kind of floating along. Then they have this big trade, but the trade didn't kick in right away because Barron got hurt and Jack got hurt and you had missed games. And it really was the game in Detroit, beating this really good Piston team on the road. You had an incredible game that there was that feel of, wait, Barron's back, Jack is back, Jay Rich is back, and we just beat a really good team on the road, and let's see what happens. And that sparked that 16-5 run. I mean, that's close to your hometown, so you remember that game and the beginning of that run and beating Detroit?
Yeah, I definitely remember that game, because we were waiting for Barron to come back. Like, everybody was excited for Barron to come back. I had just started coming back. Stack Jack had just starting to get healthy and playing, but it wasn't at a full unit yet. And the game happened to be in Detroit. I normally try to play good for home because we only go there once a year. All my family, I still get like 2 tour bus full of family and friends come down and watch those games. And for some reason, it was when everything clicked for us. It just looked like we've been playing for months together. And it was like actually our first game that we played together. We played against a really good Detroit team. And we realized that this was going to be a special year and we're going to be a pretty good team for the rest of the season.
One of those runs, you set then the Warrior record with 8 threes in a game. Now, obviously, Steph got 13 and Clay got 14, but, threes are way different now than they were then. But, I always admired you in that everybody knew about the leaping ability and the dunk championships, the toughness we mentioned. You got better defensively. But when you came out of Michigan State, 8 threes in a game and then later 7 threes in a game, it showed how much you worked on your game to do other things. And I was always impressed with that. But you remember 8 threes? I mean, at the time in 2007, man, 8 threes seemed like it was everything.
Yeah, 8 threes did seem like it was everything. So guys started making 8 threes and a half. Right. So I definitely pride myself on working hard. And I had to work hard. Jumping was always something I always could do. I didn't really play shooting guard until I got to Michigan State. So I didn't really learn how to shoot until I got there. Had to, really hone in on my skill in my second year going into my sophomore year at Michigan State and, continue to get in the NBA. I knew if I wanted to have a long career that I had to work on other parts of my game, that I couldn't just rely on my athleticism, because one day it will disappear. And like probably like 5 days ago, it disappeared playing against my son in the backyard. And my wife keep on teasing me every day. He's 14 years old right now, and he's starting to dunk. And we're going up for a rebound, and I kind of looking at the rim, and next thing you know, he's over my back, and he's almost dunking on me, and I'm like, ah! So, it goes fast, but I mean, just priding myself on working hard, coming back a better player every year. It was just something I pride myself on.
Now, where did you fit in on that We Believe team? Because Monte was the little brother, and he and Biedrins were the two puppies at 20 and 21 years of age. Barron and Jack and even Al Harrington were a little bit older, and you were right in that prime thing. So you were the middle. You weren't the old guy yet, and you weren't the puppy yet because you had already done some things. Tell me where you fit in chemistry-wise with that group and what was so key to everybody coming together.
I think I was right in the middle. Sometimes I think I was the voice of reasoning. Okay. we had a whole bunch of characters on that team. We had a whole bunch of guys that, you got to reel them in. But it was a respect level for all of us. I mean, even, having Monte being the youngest, it was a respect level for him. Barron was definitely like the mayor of the team, the face of the team. Stack was, the crazy guy, but the guy that would die for any of his teammates, would work for any of his teammates. Al the same way, Matt the same way. And I was kind of like the guy that just kind of kept everything together and make sure everybody stayed on track. But, just reliving those days, talking to those guys, anytime I see those guys, it was just something amazing to be a part of that team.
16-5 to finish. So this incredible 16-5 run, beat Dallas twice in the regular season, one in March and then in April when they sat all their starters. Then you guys go to Portland to clinch a playoff spot. And I try to tell people the Warriors made the playoffs once in 18 years. They missed for 12. And We Believe, and then missed for 5 more years. 17 out of 18 years with no playoffs. That's why We Believe, I think, is so beloved and so celebrated. What was that Portland game like? Not only playing the game knowing, hey, we could clinch a playoff spot, but then the locker room afterward reminded me of some of these finals locker rooms I've been in when the Warriors won a title.
We went on a run, and I think it started in the Detroit game. And we were on a plane, actually, heading back to, Oakland from Detroit. We started looking at the standings. We started realizing what we had to do to try to make the playoffs. And we made a commitment on that plane, that flight, that we're going to do everything in our power to try to make the playoffs. And, going through that whole season, winning those games, it was a big run for us. And then you get down to that final game, and, the Clippers win, we win, but the Clippers had to lose. So, all we said, all we could do is control our own destiny, is just win the game, and we'll see what happened after that. And we were scoreboard watching that whole game, just looking up, seeing if we could find the Clipper game score. And, we won the game. We finally get back to the locker room, realizing what the score was. We couldn't believe it because I think the Clippers lost to a pretty bad team. And we couldn't believe that they lost the game. And we were in the playoffs, and you thought we won a championship. I mean, it's been that long for guys, for the organization going to the playoffs. And it was my first time in my career going to the playoffs.
What was the preparation like getting ready for that Dallas series? Like I said, you'd beaten them twice to tail end the regular season. Nelly and Mark Cuban and the Mavericks had a lot of stuff going on. Damp had been a Warrior, and it's one of those where you guys were on the roll on the hot team, but Nowitzki was the MVP and Dallas had won 67 games, and here's this 1-8 matchup. Give me your thoughts kind of getting ready for the series and getting ready for game one.
It was weird for me because I'd never been to the playoffs. I didn't know how much preparation was into, knowing other team sets, knowing their weaknesses, knowing their strengths. But we knew we had Nelly, and, he basically raised Dirk. He knew all their plays. He knew all their moves. We were going to, do certain things to Dirk to get the ball out of his hands as much as possible, double team as much as possible because we was a little undersized, and he's a matchup nightmare. So, but we knew Don had – he had it. He had those guys, and we always play those guys tough, even before the trade. We won a few times, or we played right down to the wire. But we knew if we got them in the first round, we was going to beat them.
Now, for you, you mentioned your first playoffs, but you excelled. I mean, you kind of met the moment a little bit.
Warriors can win with a 3 and 2 and 1. Richardson 3 for the win. He got it! He got it! The Warriors win it! They win it!
You know, the threes were there, the defense was there, and Oracle, I think of Jack, I think of you, I think of Barron, you really kind of captivated everybody during that series. Now, I won't say who said it, but someone who had a lot of basketball said that's still the loudest he's ever heard any arena. What was games 3, games 4 like, and just coming home after winning game 1 in Dallas, being 1-1? The pregame for Oracle in game 3 is still something I'll never forget.
It was by far one of the loudest arenas I ever been in. It was so electrifying, like going out there, you know, right before the warm-ups, an hour and a half before the, you know, game starting, and the whole lower bowl is in those yellow gold shorts, and it's packed. It was just all the fans. It just seemed like it was 14 years of just pent-up aggression inside of them that they want us to, you know, go out there and play hard, and we just felt that from those guys, and we just laid it on them that game.
So you win game 3, game 4 is this incredible game. Matt Barnes hits a 3 at the end. You know, Biedrins had a dunk off a Barron feed. People forget Anders played all 82 games that year. He was a puppy. And you win the series. Now, no 8 seed had ever beaten a 1 seed in a 7-game series. And you're thinking your first playoff run, the 16-5 thing to finish, and you upset Dallas. Those final seconds ticking off, and you're looking around that building thinking, we just did this. I mean, was your heart beating 100 miles an hour? What were the memories from that?
My heartbeat was beating 100 miles per hour. We knew we had done something special. You know, they were the favorite to win the championship that year. Dirk was the MVP that year. It was just an amazing feeling. And I remember going back to the locker room and, you know, we all kind of just sitting there dancing, having a good time. And somebody said, man, the fans are still out there. And so me, Monte, and Al was like, what? Let's go back out there. We're going back out there. We out there. We on the floor. We waving the flag. And I think the whole lower bowl was still packed at that time. And it was almost 45 minutes after the game. It felt like fans didn't want to go home. So it was just an amazing feeling to go back there and to see how much love the fans have for us and how proud they were of us.
So, you know, the Utah series, Utah was deeper. They were better. The games were competitive, but the Jazz get the win. But I'm getting everybody's perspective on where was Jay Rich on the Barron dunk over Kirilenko.
High post, hand off to Barron, left side, right by Williams, into traffic, dunked it over Kirilenko, and a foul! And it was Savage with a right hand. Message delivered.
As someone who dunked as well as anyone that's ever played the game and yourself, give me your bird's eye view of that and your thought as Barron elevated and then dropped the hammer on him.
I was at the top of the key, and, you know, you see Barron go baseline. He's just going up. And I'm thinking he's going to, you know, kind of clutch and get the N1. And then when he just put his hand back and he just cocked the ball back, I was like, oh, he's about to do this. And he put it down on him. And that was the loudest the arena was ever. That dunk right there, it was just so in your face. The fans were into it. It was a big moment. In my opinion, it was the top 5 dunk I ever seen. You know, somebody getting dunked on. I mean, it was just electrifying, and had the fans standing up, I mean, for at least 2 minutes. It was just rocking in there.
You know what I love about that is that if you remember in the post-game press conference, you know, in the playoffs, they take you guys out of the locker room and you do the big media thing. As Barron was doing his interview, Kirilenko came in, and there was like a hug, like, you know what, that was a great play. I give it up. And I think sports needs more of that sometimes. Just, you know what, you gave your best. Kirilenko went up to block it. Barron ended up sending it down. But I think we need more of that sometimes. I always appreciated Andre Kirilenko for his reaction there. And it was, I'm going to give my best, you give your best, and somebody's going to come out on top. But it wasn't some of the kind of goofiness we see in sports sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the greatest part about it. You know, when guys give their best and you give your best and you got the better of them, you just give them a high five and you continue to go on. So that's the great thing about sports. I think Kirilenko would never forget that. I'm pretty sure every time Barron tried to go for a layup, he was trying to block it. So that's just the competition level of sports and congratulating somebody.
Now, do you ever have time now raising the kids? And and thinking, hey, this kid out of Saginaw that I remember talking to you about being a hockey player and stuff like that when you were a kid, that you had the career that you did, that you played for over a decade, you excelled, you had a career average of 17 a game, you're one of the elite players, and you fit in nicely in that off-guard lineage, from Mitch Richmond, and then you got Latrell Sprewell, you got Jason Richardson, Monte Ellis, Klay Thompson, like Warrior off-guards, that's a pretty special group, and you're right in the mix there. Give me some thoughts just on your career and everything you were able to accomplish.
I think it was, I wanted to accomplish more things. Winning the championship was one, maybe some all-star games. But I think when I look back at my career, I could feel like I left a stamp on it. When I see people and they was like, man, I used to watch you. You brought so much, pride and heart to the team and you played hard. It made me realize that I left my stamp on the game. Even when I see kids that are young and they know who I am, it just let me know that everything I did, and even though I didn't accomplish everything I wanted to, it still was a pretty good career.
How many times will someone stop you in the Bay and mention the We Believe year or mention something about that team? Because, we mentioned how rare the playoffs were, but also you really think of the energy and the love that people had for that team and that cast of characters. It's still remembered very fondly, and people are still all friends from that group. How often do people bump into you and bring that up?
Every time I come to the Bay, it's always brought up. I think fans will really appreciate us of how we left it on the line, how hard we played, because it was some years there where a lot of guys that came to the Warriors didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
But I think that was the first group of guys that actually wanted to be there, that wanted to play for the fans, that want to play for each other, that left it all on the court every night. And I think that's what the fans been waiting for and wanting for the longest. And so I think we won over their respect by the way we played and by the way we embraced each other and we embraced the city, and we brought pride to the city after being, at the bottom of the cellar of the NBA for years.
So when we get through all this together, one of your passions now is golfing.
Oh, yeah.
So there's Warrior lineage. There's a lot of guys that have picked up the sticks that are decent. Give me the scout report on Jay Rich on the golf course. Are you throwing clubs? Are you serene? Do you hit the tee-ball 300 yards? Give me the Jay Rich scout report when you get on the links.
Grip it and rip it. That is me. I approach the game just like I approach it. When I play basketball, I take a lot of pride in it. I put a lot of time and effort in it. My driving is doing well right now, especially in Denver. You can get the ball out there 320 yards with the altitude. So I'm definitely enjoying it, and it's definitely a passion of mine since I retired.
Well, I've taken one of your former teammates, Kalen Azubuike, out to play. He's my new TV partner. So nice. we have played some golf. So I'm taking a little credit in Andre Iguodala's love for the game and where he did it, but we're all chasing Steph Curry. There's nobody better than him.
Oh, by far. We all chasing him.
Hey, you mentioned your son at age 14. Is he have the potential to play at a high level? I mean, are you able to give him that work ethic? Certainly he's got the springs, but how will that work out?
He's totally different than me. He's a very, very high basketball IQ guy. He's a point guard. He loves the game. He studies it. He plays it all the time. I think he has a chance to be really special. But I just told him it's a lot of hard work and a lot of sacrifices, and a lot of things can happen from here and now. So he'll be a freshman in high school next year at Bishop Gorman in Vegas. And I'm looking forward to these next 4 years of being some fun and enjoying his time going through the process.
And I would imagine that Tom Izzo has not lost your phone number either.
No, he haven't.
Hey, give a thought to Dub Nation, the Warrior employees, and also the Game Night employees, and just everybody that is kind of dealing with us all together. You've been so beloved from everybody in the Warrior family. Give us the Jason Richardson kind of thoughts to the fans, the employees, and the people that have made the Game Night so special for the Warriors over the years.
To all the Warriors employees, to all the staff that work in the stadiums, the parking lot attendants, the security guards, the concession stand workers, we understand that this is a tough time we're dealing with. We appreciate your service and everything you have done. Soon, hopefully soon, God willing, that we will be able to get through this and continue to get back to some normal life. But in the meantime, embrace your family, stay safe, stay healthy, and together we will get through this.
I'll tell you, Jay Rich, I want to get through this to get you on the golf course and get you back in the Bay, but good seeing you. I'm glad the family's doing well. Take care of yourself, and thanks for taking the time, man. It's always good to chat with you.
Thanks for having me. Good chatting with you.